Yeah.
So I'll be rooting for Barcelona.
I'm for Barcelona.
Absolutely, so am I.
I think they got a better team.
I would tend to agree. Robbie, you mentioned that it was a big day for Gammon Gold.
Yep, it was a big winner on the day.
Is that a mining stock or a horse?
No, it's not.
Oh, I love it.
There's actually
You're after my heart.
there actually is a horse called Gammon Gold, believe it or not. And I think I've lost a few shillings on it.
Yeah, talking about horses briefly, you obviously redeemed yourself last weekend, Robbie, but having said that, another furlong, and I think that Mind That Bird would have won it again.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, you might be right.
I mean...
That's why I don't think they're going to run it in the Belmont.
Yeah, so Mind That Bird wasn't just a one-race wonder. I think it's got the real stuff,
And look at the price on the exactor. I couldn't believe it.
The unfortunate thing is now there's obviously a lot of chatter that had they not entered Rachel Alexander, we'd be looking at a possible Triple Crown winner come the Belmont.
Yeah. Bob, I have a question on FAZ, F-A-Z, the Financial Burr Fund. The stock symbol is FAZ. Are you familiar with that, Bob? The Financial Burr, B-E-A-R Fund. They basically short the financials.
Mm-hmm.
The stock symbol is Frank Alfred.
Yes, I've heard about them before. And I did refer earlier to say the ETFs are not performing that well.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, I think the financials are going to drop 50% here.
Okay, can I just hold on? The music.
Hang on there, Mike. We'll take a short break, and as he prepares to head out to Jekyll Island, joined by Bob Chapman from the International Forecaster, and Mike from New York.
Robbie?
Yes, sir.
Was John at the original meeting in Jekyll Island?
I wouldn't want to age him.
Okay. Just curious. Regarding FAZ, Bob, F-A-Z, intuitively, you'd sort of think that this would be a lock, like a surefire win, because we all expect the banks to go down, the financials. And the fund is supposed to act with leverage inversely to the financial, index, the Russell. My concern is this, that if they have short-term puts, the time deterioration can be fairly rapid, as we know, and if they're out by a few weeks, that could wipe out any potential positive return. And the performance...
Well, is FAZ using derivatives?
Well, I'm just reading the brief sort of profile here on the Yahoo website, and it says it also utilizes leverage. So I interpret that to mean, possibly options.
Well, it was trading at 100 on March the 9th. It's now at $5.
Well, this thing only opened up, less than half a year ago, and the high was $201 and change, and its price today is just over $5. So that's over a 97%, collapse. So you would think that there would be a bounce in there somewhere, but it's been acting very lackluster. Is this just a problem with the ETFs in general, Bob? Or?
It is in general. And I've got 4 or 5 stocks in the forecaster that were recommended shorting. We covered our shorts on them. They ran up, and then we shorted again.
Yeah.
And it's Wells Fargo, Citigroup, J.P. Morgan Chase, and Goldman Sachs.
Yeah. So are these ETFs just sort of incompetent, or do they have their own strategy?
I said earlier in the program, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
I don't know the reason why they're not performing. I know they're not performing on both sides of the market.
Well, maybe it's because they've been run by money managers who used to be former mutual fund managers, and they're just doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a possibility. Okay, Bob, thanks. I'll probably miss you next week. I think the game's Tuesday night.
Great.
Okay, take care. Thank you.
Okay,
thanks,
bye-bye.
Mike. We'll be right back.
For Real Talk Radio, you're listening to the National Intel Report with your host, John Stadtmiller.
Welcome back. Robbie Noel, together with Bob Chapman from the International Forecaster. Before we go to the phones, Bob, I've got to ask you a really stupid question. And you can most probably figure out the miner I'm talking about when I ask you this. Next week, one of my penny stocks is going for a 10-to-1 stock reversal split. So, if a stock is $1, and they go for a 10-to-1 reverse split, does that mean I now own 10,000 shares that will be priced at 10 cents?
If you owned 100,000 at $1, yes.
And what does this usually...
And it'll cost, in order to get even, you need $10 a share.
Then, can you explain this thing with Coeur d'Alene?
Yes, they did that. What was the number that they used? 10-to-1 or 4-to-1 or what?
10-to-1. 10-to-1.
10-to-1 means that if you owned 100,000 shares of Coeur d'Alene at $1, then under the new stock, which will be at a higher price, it'll take you $10 to get even per share. And they did that because of the listing requirements in the New York Stock Exchange. You have to have a stock that's above $1. And so they probably pressured them into rolling the stock back, as it's called. And what is it selling for now?
$1.46 was up 6.5% today.
Well, $1.46, and let's see, 146. Gee, I would have thought it would have appreciated more than that. Well, one of the reasons why Coeur d'Alene has done as well as it had is because of the New York listing, and they were afraid of losing it and wouldn't perform as well because they have so many shares out. I mean, it's a hard stock to move.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Now that there's essentially 90% less stock outstanding, it's easier to move. So maybe it'll get to 10 quickly, and everybody who went in at $1 will be even at that point. But generally speaking, it's not good.
So you would stay away from it?
Yeah, I wouldn't be a buyer.
Okay. Let's go to...
why would I do that when I can go and buy mine finders with 59 million shares outstanding, a mine that's going to last 15 years. The mine is located in Mexico, and they're going to probably make 20 cents a share this year after they pay $20 million back on a loan, or part of a loan. And so I would rather pursue that, and that's why I recommended it at around $6, and now it's almost $9. And I think it'll probably very quickly go back to its former high of 14-something. So I would rather do something like that than go after something that's had problems. Look, I bought Coeur d'Alene at 30 cents in 1968, and I sold it in June of 1980 at $22 a share. So it's been a long way. I followed that mine from its very inception with their partners, Asarco, and Wheeler ran the mine. Wheeler's still alive, if you can believe that.
Yeah, well, he's still running it.
Pardon me?
Isn't he still running it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when they put down their first shaft, but the point is, no, you go where it's easy. I don't recommend many stocks. And I happen to know the guy that Mark Bailey, who started Mindfinders. He's a former Special Forces Green Beret who spent months on one of those A-frame or A whatever it is up in the middle of all of the enemy. You know, like the movie The Green Beret. Anyway, he's a great guy, and he brought that thing from zero to where it's at. And so he deserves a lot of credit. And he got a good company there. I don't want to have to chase companies that got problems. I won't buy most things in Africa or Mongolia or China or Russia. I don't need it. Let's make my life simple.